And I know that you know what that sound means. It's time now for some of the biggest trending stories you'll want to know today, including shocking details about billionaire Jeff Bezos' wedding to Lauren Sánchez and how their big day may not be as big as expected. Plus, new reports detailing why Justin Bieber was forced to sell his music catalog for $200 million. We're bringing in our NewsNation entertainment expert to break down the headlines. Paula Froelich is here with the scoop. Hello, friend.
Hello.
So this has been dubbed the wedding of the century.
Oh, yeah.
He's a billionaire A-list guest. You know, what can we expect here?
So a lot of people were expecting something like the Ambani wedding last year. You know, India's richest family, the Ambanis,
of course,
threw their son a $600 million extravaganza across 6 months. This is not what's going to be happening here this summer.
Okay.
So I have been told by sources close to the couple that they swear it is an intimate event with only less than 200 people. You know, as intimate as 200 can get. And it's obviously going to be in Venice, as I first reported. And they are renting out the entire Amman Venice. Now, that's going to cost $500,000 a night. There's only 24 rooms, so this place is super expensive. However, they're also renting out the 82-room Gritti Palace for another $500,000 a night. Let's say 3 nights, and it's going to be not as big as people expected. They thought they were going to take over the whole town of Venice. That is not happening. It is only going to be family and close friends.
200 of their closest friends.
Exactly, and family.
Yeah.
And, you know, by my calculations, including jewelry, because as we've seen in her bachelorette, she's wearing like a 15-carat drop here.
Yeah.
The girl likes her bling.
Right.
So it will likely cost between $9 and $11 million, but that is with jewelry. Just the basics alone, it's probably going to weigh in at $3 to $5.
What do we know about the wedding itinerary?
You know what's not happening?
What?
Lady Gaga and Sir Elton John. So there have been reports all over that Elton John, Lady Gaga, all this stuff, which would have added, by the way, $11 million to the bill. That's not happening. My sources tell me, yeah, that's ridiculous. No way. People are going to get there the first night. There will likely be a reception dinner, you know, like a big thank you the next day, possibly the wedding, the big dinner, the dancing the next day, possibly some sort of excursions involving the boat.
All right, sounds lovely.
Yeah.
Let's move on to something not as lovely. Justin Bieber forced to sell his catalog for a lot of money, $200 million, but what forced him to do it?
This is really sad.
Yeah.
It should be headlined, How to Lose $500 million to $1 billion in 15 years. Oof. And while working, I might add. The issue is, you know, Justin became famous when he was around 14. And the bigger issue is when you become famous at 14 and there are no limits, how do you learn limits? Guess what? You don't. So this kid was spending like crazy. I want this, I want that. So for example, on his 2022 tour, he insisted on 2 massive jumbo jets, one for him and one for his wife, Haley. Now, they had said, come on, can't you guys share a jet?
Right.
And Haley was like, or can't you have smaller jets? And Haley said something to the effect of, no, the Jenners have a jet, and I want the jumbo jet.
Was that the reason she gave?
Apparently.
Okay.
And it's, you know, there's this new documentary out in TMZ. They were just spending, there was stuff like $300,000 dinner at Nobu at Coachella, which is a lot. I mean, that's a lot of really pricey sake and picking up the bill for a lot of people. And it just went. You know, it's kind of like when Michael Jackson went almost broke the first time.
Right.
And people were saying, how can that happen? Well, guess what? If you're spending $50 million a month, just saying, I want, and no one is saying no, it happens. So anywho, during the big concert in 2022, he developed Bell's palsy. It was like, you know, very stressed.
That, yes.
He had to quit. He was like, listen, I got to stop. However, he had been given $40 million in advance, and he owed $24 million. So his manager at the time, Scooter Braun, said, you know what? I'm going to cover it. Don't worry, Justin. You can pay me back. Justin did 1 payment and then stopped. And then at the end of the year, he was really broke, and he said, all right, I got to sell my catalog. Now, Scooter apparently had said, dude, wait a month. Come on.
Yeah.
If you wait a month, it's going to be good for your taxes. You can get it off.
Sure.
Da, da, da. Nope, he did it. And it ignored the device. He and Jester are no longer working together. He then had he had Lou Taylor, the woman who was working with Britney Spears for a hot second.
You've mentioned her before.
Yep. She claimed that Scooter owed him money. PricewaterhouseCoopers did a thing and said, no, actually, Justin owes Scooter $8 million more.
Oof, all right.
So it's just, the hard thing is when you have no balances, you have no boundaries, you don't know where to start.
Especially at 14 and then on their way up. Paula Froelich, thank you. And be sure to subscribe to the Scoop newsletter for the biggest stories in entertainment.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.